Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live show. Rob's working tonight. It'll be me. I know Act Nation said he'd try to come by. Normal Center City, Philadelphia, noisy. I am fighting these allergies. I guess the pollen came in and really hit me hard last couple of days. So I don't think I have a cold. I think it's the allergies. I never had allergies before this fall. I thought I was doing fine until now. See if I can. The angle of my camera changed when I got locked out of my computer. Like everything got signed out, as I said, I was running out of space, and I got signed out of all my accounts, and the camera is exact opposite on the other side, which is very bizarre. So, who's out there? Let me know who's out there and what you want to talk about. I made a video on the one game, and the second video we did, I was editing that, and I didn't finish editing it. That'll be up tonight. And hopefully we record something on. I want to do Page game, but Rob didn't watch it yet, so I was going to edit that. But I thought Page looked okay. I thought she looked solid, but she got outplayed by 3 other rookies in the game. And I can't understand it. They forgot to double and triple team her like they did with Caitlin Clark. I don't know. I'm confused. I thought that's what they're supposed to do for the number 1 pick rookie. Supposed to double team and triple team and blitz them. Although I'm not sure they did that against Caitlin Clark in the preseason last year, did they? I can't remember. Do you guys remember whether or not they blitzed Caitlin Clark in the preseason, or was that just how's that? I don't like that. All right, I'll go back. Excuse me. Or was that just Mystics need to learn respect? The Mystics, I don't understand what they're trying to prove. It was a preseason game. I don't understand what they're. Like I said, why do they feel they had to be so physical in a preseason game? You know, if you do that, you can get injured too. It just seems dumb to me. So I don't know especially the Brittany Sykes one, which I'm convinced was obvious. I'm not convinced. It was obvious it was unintentional and it was unnecessary. The Kiki Ariafrin, that depends on what angle you look at, whether or not it was intentional. It looks like a pull down on purpose, but on the other angle, the reverse angle from the back, not from the goal line, not from the baseline, but from the other side, it looked like they were going down and she kind of like her arms tangled and she's kind of falling. She just kind of grabs her to brace herself. I don't know what happened with that play. She got a flagrant 1, so they didn't believe it wasn't intentional. But I thought the other one was worse, Brittany Sykes. So marching orders from Shirley Johnson. Yeah, I guess. I have no idea. Why they felt they had to be so physical for a preseason game. They didn't even have Caitlin Clark in it. You know? And maybe that's why they kept Caitlin Clark out. He thought Sheila Johnson was going to try to, not worth getting injured, but I think it was really just her leg, and they couldn't, and they knew she was going back to Iowa and had to play there, and that was like a one-time deal playing back at that field. They're going to play in Indiana every game, so I guess their next game against Atlanta, I'm assuming that's an away preseason game. Let me look up what that is. That is at Atlanta at the Gateway Center. So is that their normal place? Normal one? Let me just see. Did they have a scheduling conflict for that too? Let me just see where they normally play. Let me just see that. Let's see. Schedule. Okay. No, they actually moved to the Gateway. All right. When they play the Fever. Let's see. I don't know what they're doing. What do they normally play? Against Indiana, they're going to State Farm Arena on the first one versus Indiana. So their normal place is Gateway Center. So they didn't move it for the preseason game. And so, but the State Farm Arena, they moved it for that one. The second one, they haven't announced that they moved it, but I'm assuming they're going to. So they didn't say there was a scheduling conflict for that one yet. So that's interesting. So Cece has a thigh muscle bruise. She will heal okay. Yeah, if that's all it is. I've had that before. I played Ultimate Frisbee for 40 years, so I had all sorts of little injuries in the legs. And she just needs some rest. They said she made good progress in 24 hours and she played. So I think another week she'll be fine. A week off, she can take it easy in practice if she has to. So anyways, marching orders from Sheila Johnson. Sheila Johnson's a weirdo. I don't know how much she had to do with the BET success. I think it was her husband's idea, but she got credit for helping running that, and that was very successful. I don't know how much credit to give her because, I wasn't there. But her husband, I think it was her husband's idea, and her husband had more of the money. But she did help run it. Oh, Bobby, you just love to repeat yourself, don't you? I don't know, you're like a little kid. She was limping a bit. Yeah, she wasn't 100%. I wonder how she got the bruise. I'm glad she didn't play against the Mystics. Me too. I'll say this, that she has been practicing with her legs, her knees bent, and so she's using muscles she's not used to using for long periods of times. And if those muscles aren't as strong as the other muscles, you got different muscles throughout your legs and that you use when you have to squat and get in a position on defense. And they're having her bend her knees and they're having her play proper defense, on-ball defense, because I saw in the video. And I don't know if she strained herself by using muscles that she's not used to using them for long periods of time that she's not used to using. Rob suggested that. So it could have just been anything. They were teasing her on the bench. Oh, about no one cheering for her logo 3. They really? They were teasing her? I didn't hear it. Yeah, I was disgusted with if that second one, like I said, I'm not 100% convinced that Kiki's was intentional because she was falling down. But if that was intentional, that's 2 intentional fouls. And that's pretty disgusting for a preseason game. And Sykes, she started it. She was up against Sophie Cunningham in the back. And that's illegal. You can't do that. So she started the illegal stuff. If her arm got caught, that's her. Yeah, Sheila Johnson. Yeah, she probably is a racist. Who knows? I don't know if she is. Did he? Kinda. He called me a name that I don't accept, and he was being a jerk and difficult, and just saying crazy things. Then tell me I had no reasoning. That's because you're a child, Bobby. That's why. It's just so stupid for you to keep reminding people that. I'll let you know when she's the best player, Bobby. Rob and I'll let you know. Do you think Sophie Cunningham is the second most hated player in the WNBA? Is she really? I don't know. How did you? Hey, hi, Marlon. Um, how did you determine that she's the second most hated player in the WNBA? I think a lot of people don't like Angel Reese, but a lot of them do because of her skin color. But I don't know whether Sophie Cunningham is disliked or not in the league. I think she's extremely likable, and she doesn't stop smiling, which is really makes her very appealing. She has a great smile to begin with, but it just I like upbeat people. Hi, Tulip. How are you? How's everybody doing? I'm sorry, I'm underneath the weather a little bit with these allergies. I never even had allergies before last fall, and I didn't even know I had them. I thought I was just kept getting small colds, and I went into the doctor, and they said, "No, you got allergies." I go, "What do you mean? I haven't had my whole life." People get them all sorts. People are getting them all sorts of time now. Right now, they said the allergies are quite common now. So I started taking an allergy pill, and what's it? Nasal spray, saline spray twice a day. And I had a what do you call it? A humidifier, and I stopped using it when I didn't have to use the heat at night. And maybe I shouldn't have stopped using the humidifier. And so I don't know. It doesn't feel like a cold. It feels like just my nose is running from the allergies. And I never had it my whole life, so that's annoying. But I didn't get any colds all winter. Maybe it's because I was isolated because of it was so cold this winter. I don't know. I think the Mystics Fever games are going to be physical. And I don't like that. I want them to take the physicality out of the league, not add it. I don't want to see people get injured. And I don't want to see the flow of the offense ruined with clutching, grabbing, and holding it. I don't understand it. So what do we think of the cuts? What cuts? There haven't been any cuts yet, has there? Oh, besides, I know Sellers was cut, but I think it's because they found out her knee just wasn't there. She couldn't move fast, I guess. That's why she dropped in the draft in the first place. Who else was cut besides Sellers? Or who do you think we gonna be cut? My opinion hasn't changed any over the last since the draft. I think Michaela Timpson is, and I just put up a video, and I'm sorry it didn't go up earlier today. My phone froze up, and I had to go buy a new screen, so that's why it got delayed going up today. And Rob was traveling because of family obligations, going to New York for like 3 or 4 days, and then I was on vacation before that. So we apologize for the lack of videos, but we're going to go strong from now until the end of the year. So I explained this in the video that just went up, so you probably haven't seen it yet. What I found out was there are protected guaranteed contracts. There are unprotected non-guaranteed contracts, and there are camp contracts. There's very little difference between a camp contract and an unprotected non-guaranteed contract, except that an unprotected non-guaranteed contract, once you play a half a season, then your contract becomes guaranteed for the rest of the year. But it's when you have to make the team either way, because they don't have to pay you on an unprotected guarantee. Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, they have unprotected guaranteed contracts. They can just get cut and it won't cost them anything as long as they do it before halfway through the season. The protected guaranteed contracts, it always costs against the cap, regardless of when they cut them. And only 4 people have those, believe it or not. And it's not who you think. It's, let's see, it was Lexi Hall. It was Demir Dantris. It was Natasha Howard. And who was the 4th one? And Kelsey Mitchell. Those are the only 4 people that have a guaranteed contract that absolutely has to cost them against the cap if they get cut, unless the half season kicks in, and then another 6 people have guaranteed contracts halfway through the season. So Brianna Turner, it is possible they could cut her if they wanted to keep Michaela Timpson and then some guard also. But I don't think that's likely, given her history of really great defensive play and rebounding. But she does a lot of the same things as Michaela Timpson, so it's possible. So, anyways, I think the 10 people that I just talked about are all going to make the team, and then Michaela Timpson, and then they can sign another player about a third of the way through the season. They're going to have about $43,000, 112 minus 69, about $43,000, which means they can prorate that and sign somebody about a third of the way through the season. I must be the life of the party, dude. I am. So I used to do stand-up comedy. What do you mean? I'm just under the weather right now today. Six of the people are not protected. The only people protected are Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, Demira Tentras, and Lexi Hall. Nobody else is protected. I didn't know this the other day. I didn't know there was that many, 6 people that were unprotected. But once they go through the half a season, they count according to the contract. But so, there was cuts today already? Really? Because they don't have to cut anyone until the 15th. Bree Hall was cut, and they probably did that. They did that as a favor to them so they can pick up with another team. Aline were cut. Yeah, that's no surprise. Hall didn't even. Those are the 2 that didn't play in the first game. They obviously weren't as impressive in the practices, or they would have played in the first game as opposed to the other players. But Atlanta picked up Sellers earlier today. Wow. That's surprising. But I'm glad for her, but maybe her knee's not as bad as people thought. I can't believe she got cut so early. I thought you would have thought they would have tested her out with the knee and whatever before they drafted her. And then I don't understand that, why she got cut so early. So let's see. Possible bounty the Mystics owner put on CC. I heard that rumor. There's no truth to that as far as I know. I mean, I don't know about that. Do they really? So they really made cuts already? I thought they would. I guess if it became so obvious to them which players they didn't want, I guess they didn't show much at practice. They couldn't even last to the 15th. So you don't have proof. All right. Let's see. Is she political? I don't know her politics. I don't want to know her politics, but someone called her Maggie Barbie. I heard that, but I didn't know why they called her that. I don't know if she's has she actually stated what her politics are? Because I don't pay attention to that. Oh. Did she actually say, what did she say? Like to establish herself as a MAGA Barbie? She just said she likes Trump? Bobby, you must be the life of the party, dude. He likes to repeat himself like 8 million times, so that would be annoying, I guess, at a party. So Sonny, this is for sure. I never thought Bree Hall was going to make the team. They really like Michaela Simpson. You can tell they talk about her. So that's 11, and that's all they can have. Yeah, that looked like the dream team. It looked like the dream team in 1992, where after they got Angolia lost by 100 points, they just wanted their autographs. I don't know that much about. I guess I don't know that much about Sophie Cunningham. She's known as a dirty player, as a serial elbowing. Oh, okay. I saw that they were getting autographs. That reminded me of the Dream Team. Yeah, where did Sophie say she was Maggie? And why would it be necessary for her to even say that? I'm wrong. What am I wrong about? Basil's mom? Basil's mom is here telling me I'm wrong. Basil tells everyone they're wrong. Clark. They automatically can they pick up their fourth year before right away? I don't know. I don't know when they can pick up when they pick up. There is a thing where they pick up the last year in a rookie contract. That was explained to. I looked this up on ChatGPT. That does become guaranteed, but I didn't even know they did. I wasn't worried about Clark in Boston because they're not going anywhere. Only one player from the third round makes roster the past 3 years. Yeah. What's her name? I can't pronounce her name. Jim. I don't think she's making the team, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't know how she's playing in practice. Howard and Bonner are all we need. Well, we need Sophie Cunningham for the new players. Yeah, Colson. Here's the thing with Colson. Here's my feeling. If it's not a blowout one way or another, all you need is for 6 minutes, maybe 8. I like to see Caitlin Clark play 32 or 34 minutes. If it's a close game, 34 minutes. And you don't need her for very many minutes. But she's not going to be able to run the offense like Caitlin Clark can. Sophie Cunningham can do a better job of that. So she's going to get those minutes. Maybe not. Maybe they decide just give Sophie Cunningham those 6 to 8 minutes and only use Colson if they're desperate or someone's injured. I don't know. Colson didn't look that good the first game. And second game, she looked okay, but she was playing with the backups and stuff. I don't know. Sophie's a dirty player. Is she? I don't know. I didn't know she was considered dirty. I just think she's feisty, but maybe she's dirty. I'd like to see Turner play more just to see how good she is. She just didn't seem to make much of an impact, though. This must be woke black man right here. Now, I'm not surprised by simple logic. I'm surprised by the lack of logic from other people. Quitas, she's old school. She played great in one game when Chelsea Gray got injured 2 years ago. They said she was great 2 games in one game. That's one game with a team that she's used to playing with. She's not used to playing with this team. We'll see. I'm not going to judge Colson on 2 preseason games with a new team. Let's see how. So we'll see. She's slow. Tulip is slow. Or Tulip, you're slow. Or we're talking about Colson. They offered her up for other teams. Who's that? Turner? I don't know. They must have. They signed Turner for a reason. Sophie should marry Barron. God. Barron seems like a strange dude to me, but he's just a young. I'm not going to pick on a young person I don't know anything about, really. So we don't know if she's really MAGA Barbie, but someone called her that, right? All right, we don't need people calling people stupid morons. I'm trying to keep this civil today. I don't have the energy for it. Sorry, my allergies are. Yeah. Basil, your mom is in the thread, just so you know. I had nothing to do with it. Nemrotic owners is not smart enough to put a bounty on anyone. I think Sykes has always been feisty, right? At times I saw her play last year, but it's for sure. Well, I don't care. I'm keeping politics out of my channel. Rob and I just want to keep politics out of our channel. So that's all. So I'm not going to comment on the when it comes to politics. I know if you want channels for that, there's all sorts of conservative channels that are up there. I want to talk about basketball, and I'm so glad that the season started so we can talk about basketball and not a lot of this drama and trivia stuff. And so I will talk about that. Let's see. I'll repeat what I said. I thought Paige looked decent, although she got outplayed by 3 rookies. And I don't remember whether or not they blitzed Caitlin Clark in the preseason games, but they didn't double team or triple team Paige. I'll say that. And her passing just wasn't that good, but she's with a new team. I'm not going to judge her on that. I've seen her pass well with Connecticut. We'll see. I thought Citron looked great. I'm sure she's not going to shoot as well as she did all those times, but her defense is always great. It's always solid. And she looked like she was very comfortable in the WNBA right away. That's impressive. I said there was going to be a third or fourth person that's coming out of this draft besides the top 2 that were going to be good. And you never know who they are. And she's going to establish herself right away as one of the 2 that's going to be good in this draft other than Paige and Dominique. So Citron looked good. And in the first game, I don't know if you can really draw much conclusion from the first 2 games because they played the Mystics without Caitlin Clark, and then they played a lousy team. Nothing against Brazil, but there just wasn't a strong enough team to give them any real competition. So what conclusion can you draw? Atlanta, at least, is a decent team, theoretically. They're seen as like the 6th or 7th team, maybe, like in the middle, an average team this year. So that will be a much better test. And then, Caitlin Clark will be 100% healthy, and they're probably going to, have their roster set pretty much for the most part and a rotation in mind. So I think, Chicago will beat Brazil by 27 points. I mentioned, what did the Fever won by like 68 or something like that? Or I forgot what the total was. Maybe 1 or 2 players can play for Iowa. Watch me at 2 speed. Okay. I think everybody would be funny at double speed. Oh, well, whatever. I don't care. Mrs. Ross, you call her Mrs. Ross? Adrienne Ross, you call her Mrs. Ross? I don't think she's married, is she? Blonde Bombers. Yeah, you can't pick on Basil today because his mom's in the audience. I agree, Kent. I do not want that on my channel. I don't care if she's MAGA or not. Yeah, you know what though? They're not the same height. If you see that picture, they're both listed at 6'1", and Lexi's an inch taller. So one of them's 6'2", or I guess they could be 6'1.5". Someone could be 6.5 inch. But Lexi was definitely, and they looked like they were standing the same way in that photo. I'll pull it up for you. But Lexi's an inch taller than Sophie. So, well, anyway, so then in that game against, I thought they really struggled without Caitlin Clark offensively, but there was some offensive flow. There was more passing than we saw last year. The defense was better. People weren't wide open for 3-point shots in the other team in both the games, actually. And we'll see what happens, next week. We really can't draw much conclusion until at least the Atlanta game. At least I'm not going to draw too much conclusion. Natasha Howard looked not as good defensively as I thought she was supposed to be, but she's obviously a good, solid player. And so Bonner's a great target on the fast break with those long arms, good speed for a 37-year-old. And so I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of those fast break plays. That's a tough cover. You can throw it over the top when someone has long arms like that, and she's tall with the long arms. Tulip is a troll. Get him. All right. Okay. So we confirm that Hall and the other woman were waived today. Is it? Does ESPN have that on their website? Tyler trying to changing situation. Who's Tyler? Tyler's a coach for the Mystics. I haven't seen Sophie play enough to see whether I think she's dirty or if she's just feisty and physical. I streamed both games. Yeah. Where were you, Burrow? You were. I took attendance. I didn't see you. Okay, Evan. Whatever. You sound like a really cheery guy here. Why are you on the podcast to begin with? I don't do my own research. I just did research on all the contracts and stuff like that. I know. Anybody that doesn't. All right. Let's see. Sophie is assertive, not dirty, according to Mr. Terrible. Yeah, I'm not drawing any conclusions. So I see her play more. So I don't know. Your dad's here till Wednesday? Is he joining us in the chat? So I think the whole league is too physical, but that's so let me look up the fever. Did you guys confirm this, by the way? I know no one's told me whether you confirmed whether they made cuts today. Let me just see the roster. They're still in the roster, but did you guys read this somewhere? Where do you guys get the list of people that get waived and stuff like that? I haven't been paying that attention to it. Is there a WNBA site that has the list of players that are cut and waived? Let me just see. So they got all sorts of names for this team. Got the Splash Sisters, got the Blonde Barbie. I'm trying to catch up. So the uppity white girl, they don't like it when a white girl's feisty, but it's okay when the black girl's feisty. Is that what you're trying to say, Bobby? Yeah, Paige was okay. I think she was assertive in some ways, but not others. She wasn't assertive in the passing, but she wasn't afraid to take her shot. So we'll see. I think Dominique just arrived, right? She hasn't even played yet. I don't even think they had a game yet, right? Does Seattle have a game yet? Isn't the schedule weird? They open camp. They play 2 games like 4 days later. What day did they open? Was it 27th? So I guess it was more than 4 days, but whatever. And then don't play for a week. And then don't play for another week. Why the preseason games so soon after camp opens up? You know, I can understand the Brazilian teams traveling or something, but why did they have to have both games right in a row? It just seems weird. Yeah, well, Sky's not supposed to be that good this year, so we'll see what happens. I mean, they may make the playoffs, but they're not going anywhere. I'm not drawing any conclusions till after the first game. Although I'll tell you that over under is only 27.5. That's where you should put your bet on. I haven't made any bets yet, but that's where I'm going to put my bet on. Unless Caitlin Clark gets injured, how are they not winning 28 games this year? And the Valkyries, 15.5. There was 2 teams that won 8 and 9 games last year, and they weren't expansion teams. There's only 4 more games. That's like 1 or 2 wins maybe there. How are they going to win 16 games? Maybe I got to pay. I don't think they've had their preseason games. I don't look at their preseason games. Unless they look awesome in their preseason games, that's a great bet too. So that's where I think that's where the safest bet is the over-under. Those are weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think so. So we'll see what happens. I'm sorry, I don't have much of a throat. I'm not really, like I said, I think it's allergies, not cold. So, um, I agree I can't completely avoid it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try to limit it. I mean, if I know I can't completely avoid it, I've had plenty of videos on it, but I try to limit it. Sophie will easily get 12 minutes per game. She'll get way more than 12 minutes per game. What are you talking about? No, she's going to get close to starter minutes. Are you kidding me? 12 minutes a game. She's going to play. She can play small forward, point guard, and shooting guard. She'll get lots of playing time. She may get more playing time than one or two of the starters. So where do you guys get the list of team players that are waived? Is it on the WNBA site? Is someone going to answer that question? Because I wasn't even keeping tracks. I didn't. I'm trying. Did Ivan leave? He was being so negative. I agree, Dean. I think everybody thinks that. So Sophie was the best addition. I think she got a black belt in. I think it was Taekwondo, not in judo, but I could be wrong. That's what I read. I definitely read Taekwondo, and she got it. She started training when she was 6. Oh, really? But where do they get the list? Is what I'm saying. Is the list somewhere? There's all sorts of bunch of Bree Hall fans telling me how she was better than Lexi Hall, and some people are just fans of like they must know them or something. Someone told me like Sanaya Rivers might be rookie of the year because she can cut to the basket like Kennedy Carter. I go, she's not even good offensively. She's a great defender. She'll make it in the league, but like, gosh, people have to learn to be more objective. Like Sophie Hall, like Bree Hall was better than Lexi Hall already. She hasn't even played in the WNBA. Lexi Hall's already established herself in the WNBA. She might have a good career. I'm not saying she won't. It's not going to be with the Fever, apparently. Yes, Caitlin just wants to play. She knows it's all a distraction. She may be rookie of the year. I will say that. I thought she was an obvious third pick. People were saying Kiki was going to go third, and I go, no. I don't even think Kiki should have gone that high, but we'll see. Maybe she'll prove me wrong. A lot of people don't think much of her play. You couldn't find my feed. I was up early on it. I don't know why you couldn't find it. They announced it on Facebook. Oh, you mean Fever? Fever has a Facebook. I've been on Facebook the last year since I started doing this channel because it's distracting. But does WNBA list like is there a transaction section on WNBA.com? Let me just see. I'll go to the. I just go to the teams and see if it says anything. I don't see anything. I don't see where it talks about it. Schedule news. How about under news watch? Not surprisingly, they don't have anything in WNBA. Anyways, let's see. Okay. So you guys, I don't even have Facebook opened right now. The cuts were on Instagram? Oh, on their Indiana Fever site? Yeah, I don't even go to their site on a regular basis, but I should. I usually go to Ken Swift's column, get my snooze. And he's going on vacation. He's going to Japan for 2 weeks or something like that. Let's see, indianafever.com. Indiana Fever website. Why is this doing this to me? I don't want that. Let's see. Indiana Fever. So I should be checking Indiana Fever's website every day, I guess. I've not been doing that. I didn't think they'd cut him this one. They didn't have to make a decision until July, I guess. It was July, I think. No, I'm sorry. May 15th. Instagram. All right, I'm on the Fever site. All right, let me see what else is on here. On the Fever webpage. Okay, I'm on the Fever webpage. So do I look under team? Roster? Yeah, well, they're gone. Bree Hall's gone, and so is, yeah. So many people are on the roster right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, they still have to cut 2 more. So it's likely going to be Yvonne Jim. And Jaylen Brown, but who knows? Team news. Here it is. Indiana Fever will waive Jillian, Aline, and Bree Hall. I think they're doing them a favor. So I'm not sure why they signed Jillian Aline to a camp contract from over in Europe anyways. Because now Bree Hall can go try out for somebody else. Somebody with a connection to South Carolina I'll give her a shot. Don't you think? Does that make sense? Sometimes it's just about connections. I want them to clean up this freaking league. It's just stupid. It's just stupid basketball. All that does is benefit the bulky, big women who aren't athletic, who are just big. Uh, what's the elephant in the room, Bobby? Sorry, I got a big room with lots of comments that I don't always know what you're talking about. Yeah, that is weird. 15 and a half. That's where to put your money is over on the Fever and under on Golden State. There's no way they're winning 16 games. Well, I mean, I'll wait till they play their preseason games in case they were unbelievable in their recruiting of like European players and whatever, and their coaches that John Wooden of basketball. But 16 games, we had teams that were not expansion teams that only won 8 and 9 games last year. Let's see when they play, because that's really I want to put my money down on. Did you see that Jamel Hill said that Caitlin Clark was going to win the MVP? That's unbelievable. Let's see. Yeah, let's see when Golden State's going to play, because I'm really curious about that. They're only playing 2 preseason games? Oh, that exhibition against Brazil didn't count as a preseason game for the Fever. I see. All right. They're playing tomorrow night. So playing against Los Angeles. So we'll see how they look. Yeah, the Fever are going to be rolling. I can't see how they could win only 27 games. I'm flabbergasted by the over-unders. They have nobody winning more than 29 and a half games. No one winning 30 games or more. And there was 4 teams with a higher winning percentage than the top over-under number they had. It was like 659, I figured out. And 4 teams had a higher winning percentage than that last year. So I'm confused by the over-under. Defense for Chris Scher. Who's Chris Scher? I don't know who Chris Scher is. Dean's making a bold prediction. Sophie's going to be a starter within 10 games. I don't know. She may start eventually. She doesn't need to. The energy is great off the bench, her and Lexi Hall. But who are they going to bench if they start her? WNBA transaction. All right, I'll look. I didn't see transactions on the WNBA site, but I found what I needed on the Fever site. I'll look at it tomorrow when I'm not doing this. Yeah, I mean, she was the second pick, right? So they obviously had Timpson on their mind more than Hall. I just think Hall wasn't a good enough offensive player to make up for the fact that she's a good defender, but she's not a good offensive player. She can hit the three a little bit, but she can't create her own shot. She doesn't seem to be able to score very easily. And so what was she going to add to the team that they don't already have? So it's tough. It's tough when you got to deal with salary caps. They don't have an easy job figuring out who's going to be on your team, especially when Lynn Dunn screwed everything up. Cost them like 110,000 extra in space. So right now that 110,000 would be huge because all they need is 43,000 more for another player. So anyway. So there's a WNBA transaction page. All right. I need to find that. I'm on WNBA.com. Or I was. Okay, wait. I closed that. Is that under more? Ah, there it is. I got it. Never mind. I didn't see it across the top. I found it. All right. I need to go to this more often. Under more. Cheyenne Sellers was awarded on waivers to Atlanta Dream. Was awarded? Does that mean the same thing as picked up? Was awarded on waivers. I've never heard that phrase before. Was awarded on waivers. I've always heard it picked up on waivers, but I guess they use it different terms in WNBA. That's very interesting that Sellers got cut so quickly. Jiu-jitsu? Okay, so I read Taekwondo, but I don't know what she has. I wrestle in Iowa, and it's cultural. Yeah, Iowa, big wrestling tradition. You meant 20 minutes. Are you the one that said 10 minutes? No, she's going to get starter type minutes. I think Lexi Hall and her are both going to get plenty of minutes. I think there's going to be 7 players that are going to get plenty of minutes. And if Aaliyah Boston doesn't play well, then Dantas will get plenty of minutes. But I think there's going to be 7 players that get plenty of minutes. After that, I think it depends on how the other players are playing. It will be interesting to see Stephanie White have to try to, when you've got a team with depth, you got to figure out how to make everyone happy. But so anyway, okay. Are you talking to me, Charlie, and that and current too many live stream ones listed? I'm behind. That's why. I'm not 100% convinced that that was intentional because they were tangled up and they were falling down, and she could have just been hanging on. But at one angle, it looks like it's intentional. The other angle, it looks like it might not be. Yeah, thank you. I found it. I just never went to the trends. I wasn't just that into that many of the obsessive details. All right. This says Taekwondo. So far, I've heard judo, jiu-jitsu, and Taekwondo. Do I hear karate? Yeah. What's the deal with Nike not promoting K? I gave up. I don't know what Nike's problem is. They already you thought that they changed CEOs, right? And it's my understanding about it was 6 months ago, a couple months ago, right? So maybe 8 months ago, and they were losing money. Their stock was going down, and then they got a new CEO, and they didn't change anything. So I have no idea. You would think that this guy would say, "Hey, you guys were not promoting Kate Clark." I found it. I just didn't know where. I didn't see transaction across the top, and then I saw the more. I'm doing like I'm trying to. I only went there quickly because I'm doing the thread. It's not like I wasn't like on the website very long. I didn't want to like abandon the thread for a long period of time and look at it, but I found it. Thank you. You want to get Rudy back on the. Rudy just wants to. Rudy doesn't want. Rudy just wants to give his opinion like it's fact and have nobody challenge what he says. That's the impression I got from him. He doesn't want to debate. He just wants him to state things, and we're all just supposed to take notes. He was way out of line yesterday. Sorry. He says a lot of. He says some dumb things, and then he tells everybody else. Then he calls everybody else they're dumb. It's not true. I'm just behind in the chat. That's all. You don't think violence should be in basketball? No, not at all. I hated the Pistons. Bill Laimbeer is my least favorite player of all time. Yeah, I agree. The Sparks, I would have traded the Dominique. The discussion was about prime years for athletes. And he made a point that for women, it may be younger. I said, fine, that might be right. So I agree with him. I say he might be right. The stats I have from prime is from a guy who did stats on men's team sports. And he started naming individual athletes. And I said, that's not what I said. I talked about team athletes, their peak, which is 26 to 30, I believe, right now, at least for men. Women, it may be a little bit earlier. And then he started talking about golf, 40 for golf. And I said, there's no way it's 40 for golf. And he started telling me I was an idiot, basically. So, and then he said I didn't know what standard distribution was and all that stuff. And then he just told me he just was insulting. So then he called me a name and I got rid of him. That's what happened. Nobody needs that type of stuff on this. You want to be like that? Go on X. Go on X and be like the sewer on X. Okay, someone's backing me up. That's what I'm saying. Rob and I talked about that in the video today. I know it went up late today, so probably a lot of you didn't see it. And I know Adrian Ross did a nice video on those two fouls. The league should have set a precedent from the very beginning in the preseason. They didn't do it because they're airheads and because she's a wimp. Kathy Englebert's a wimp. So it's easy to clean up physicality in a sport. All you got to do is call it and suspend people. That's all you got to do. It's not hard. See, she should have been MVP already. All right, well, I don't know about that. But even Jamel Hill thinks she's going to be MVP this year. Truly hate Nike. Boro doesn't like Kiki. Let's see. Yeah, the commissioner, as long as she's commissioner, it'll be a very slow process of cleaning up the league. She just doesn't have the stones to do it. So that's just the way it is. L Duckface has been annoying lately. Duckface. Oh. I saw the thumbnail that was on Ken with her tongue sticking out. Is that the one you're talking about, Charlie? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we might not have the same starting lineup all the time. It might depend on the other team's front line, and they have a lot of guards. Some teams start 3 guards. Well, I don't think they have the revenue to have 14 people. I don't think they need 14 players. I really don't think they do. And if they have 2 new players, now you have to have that much more revenue. That's another $140,000 per team to pay. So 140,000 times whatever 15, and they're going to have 2 more teams, so 140 times 17. That's how much more revenue you would have to pay them. So I don't think you need more than 12 teams. It'd be necessary. It'd be nice if they all had at least 12, though, exactly 12. Like these teams going to have 11. It looks like. I think you just got to increase the salary cap some. It seems kind of tight to me. But he was bipolar. Yeah, he was more than bipolar yesterday. I can think of a few other words. Yeah, that's probably true. South Carolina. No one really stood out in South Carolina to me this year. Didn't they have one player who was supposed to be good? They got tore her ACL in the beginning of the year. Sorry. about my allergies. Anyways. Christopher, hi. Despite the Fever struggling in the first game, I found it very educational to see how the bench players would do. Back up Sophie Cunningham. Yeah. She's so versatile. I mean, we won that trade, right? The Fever won that trade for Melissa Smith because the 8th pick would have been, well, tonight Rivers went 8th, I guess, but they got Timpson without even having the first round pick. Yes, I agree. Why he's saying that to me, I agree with that. People were saying that she was going to get traded and Bree Hall was going to be in the team. I was like, that's the stupidest take. Oh, my God. Aaliyah Boston still has no strength in her hands. Her ball keeps getting knocked out. She won't. She needs to take those. There's vice grips that you have in wrestling. See, people from Iowa know that. I'm not from Iowa, and she just needs to just squeeze them all day long in front of the TV when she's watching TV, because the ball keeps getting knocked out of her hands. Yeah, I don't think Brianna Turner's going to be cut, but they could. But I don't think so. She's got a reputation for a lot of years, and she's kind of in her prime. Right? How old is Brianna Turner? She's like 30. How old is she? Let me just see. She plays really good defense. At least she has in the past. Yeah, she's 28 years old. You're gonna waive a defensive specialist in their prime? I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, I agree, Burrow. Okay, finally, Mark, you told me. What did you tell me 4 times? Picked up in the waivers? All right, whatever. Awarded on waivers is sound to make the waived player feel better and or the viewers to not be against the waived player as much for being waived. No, awarded on waivers was someone picking up someone. It wasn't even being waived. It's because that was Cheyenne Sellers. I heard she got picked up. Where was she? Who's she originally drafted with? Let me see. What was that? She got waived by the Elkeries and then picked up by Atlanta Dream. Awarded by waivers means she got picked up by waivers. Right? She was drafted. Yeah, she was waived by Golden State. So awarded by waivers actually means you got picked up on waivers. That's what it means. which I've never heard that expression before. I always heard got picked up by waivers. Oh, I'm not messing with Dean. I wrestled too. I'm not messing with a wrestler from Iowa. Someone's using the Adrian Ross show. Oh, Adrian Ross is in the audience. Hi, Adrian. How are you? Yeah, the comments, there's a lot of comments. Adrian, I agree with you about they should have sent a message for the physicality, but it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen as long as Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner, in my opinion. Or it's going to happen very, very slowly, very gradually, and very slightly. I just don't think she has it in her, and she's afraid of the players. So, anyways, that's what I feel. Adrian in the house. People like you, Adrian. Thanks for coming by. I'll send you a link if you want to talk. I know you do a lot of live stuff. Let's see. Drop the link. I'll send her an email. I can send one. I'll send you one, Adrian, if you want to join me. I'll send you one to your email. All right. If you want to come on for a couple minutes, I sent you a link, Adrian. Oh, you're driving. You're driving and you're still filing. How are you driving and filing a thread at the same time? Must be multi-talented. What are are you typing at the red lights? Oh, okay. I've tried to get Ben knows he's invited. I don't have an email for him. He was on the live stream the first day, and I said you're invited. I think I sent something to him on X, and so, anyways, tell Ben he's invited. My emails in my channel. I didn't hide my email from anybody. It's all this, my regular email. Rudy insisted Lexi was going to get cut. Rudy's wrong about a lot of things. And he said the reason is because they could get the same thing for less money. I don't agree. I don't agree Hall is as good as Lexi, at least not right now, maybe 5 years from now. And also, Lexi wasn't going anywhere this year. Next year is when they got to pay her more money. So they're not even paying her that much this year. So I don't agree with his theory, and I did a video on that. And I think it's a bad theory. How many times have I called you stupid and ain't or worse yet? I don't think I've ever called you any of those things. But if you want me to start, I could. I've been too nice to do that. I just disagree with you sometimes. All right. I hate to say this, but the Brazilian team had more sportsmanship and character compared to those NBA teams. What an embarrassment. Yeah, I don't know. They were kind of in awe of the other team when they got killed by 68 points or whatever it was. Yeah, I really found it interesting what Jamel Hill had to say. Jamel, reverse psychology jinx. I believe she's probably doing that. I don't know if she's sincere or not. You know, she thinks Caitlin Clark is only the 7th greatest college basketball player of all time, so I don't take her seriously. I'm trying to catch up. All right. The eye gouge. How many people think it was intentional? Did I have a live stream? No, he was on Caitlin Clark's crossover the first night. And then he thought, he didn't think it should be a debate. And we were ganging up on him, he said. I could send you the emails. I was flabbergasted. That's what the show is called, Caitlin Clark's Crossovers, based on sports reporters. That's what they did. They debated. They didn't just accept everybody's opinion. She said that. Supposedly she said that. Anyways, I always enjoy Adriana Ross's videos. I told her that. So she's a straight shooter. She knows basketball, and that's 2 combinations. It's good. Aaliyah Boston's teammate was cut. You think Aaliyah's not going to get cut? I will say that. I'll say this: Demira Dontres. I'm sorry, Demira Dontres. I can't pronounce her last name. Whatever it is, she looks good, and you know she was playing in a weak league, obviously over there, but she looked pretty good at the end of last year. She was hitting some big shots. She's slow, but she lost 20 pounds. It looks like, and she was coming off an injury last year, so I expect her to play well this year. And if Boston is asleep at the wheel, her minutes are going to be gone. That's all I'll say. She's not going to get cut, but it's going to wake her up. But I'll also say that Boston never had a good coach, a good head coach. I don't know how good the assistant coaches were last year. Judging from the head coach, they probably weren't very good. She never had a veteran big person to teach her things that she didn't know, you know, that she didn't learn in South Carolina in terms of post play because her footwork is not good. She looks like she just throws it up sometimes, like Angel Reese. But I think she has talent, and she's an excellent passer. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Bonner and Natasha Howard and assistant coaches and the personnel coach, development coach, and Stephanie White can all help her get better. And I think she will get better. I don't know. She shot 58% her rookie year. She doesn't look like she's someone who would shoot 58% sometimes the way she looks underneath the basket, but that's just me. Sophie really impressed everybody, I think. So no one's going to disagree with you on that one. Oh, she's not a Trump supporter? No. I don't think Stephanie White cares about politics. And I think she has a lot of say on who's on the team and not on the team. I don't think the GMs are. I don't think the GMs are going to pull a Lynn Dunn where she cuts Celeste Taylor instead of Saxton for no reason. Butterfinger Barbie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She tends to catch it, but it's easy to knock it out of her hands. Tulip is underestimating Caitlin Clark, in my opinion. Judging from her one comment she made about Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collar and Asia Wilson going to be still dominant players for the next 5 years. That's just my impression. Okay. Maybe she's home now and she can come on the show. Let's see. Okay. How many games does the Fever win this year? Higher or lower than 26? According to Vegas, it's 27 and a half. I'm going to wait to after the Atlanta game before I give you my answer, but I'm already looking at 33 to 35 wins. And right now I'm saying 33. If they look fantastic against Atlanta, maybe I'll go 35, but I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know why they're not the favorites. I think Caitlin Clark is going to take over this league this year. I think she's going to go from the fourth best player in the league to the best player in the league by the end of the year and make Bobby happy. It might only take 10 games before she convinces me. She bends her knees and plays some defense, cuts down on the turnovers. I'll be convinced. And she has a real coach and a real team this year. So everything's going to be easier for her. Shooting percentage is going to go up. Everything. If you think about this, it must have been a nightmare. Well, I got rid of a troll yesterday. I blocked. I got rid of Element Gold. Who are you telling me to eliminate right now, Evan? I've also blocked Woke Black Man, not at first, because he was somewhat funny at first, but then he had like 4 different accounts and he was being repetitive and annoying and people complained, so I got rid of him. And I blocked about a dozen people that made comments on my site, maybe 15 people that made comments on my site because they made insulting comments and said we were stupid and didn't know anything about basketball. And those are the type of comments I don't take. So I'm not sure how many more people you want me to block. I can't block everybody. If they get insulting, I block them. I'm not into having a X or Twitter type format here. Do you think they kept CC having a purpose against the Mystics? I think she was honestly injured. I don't think she looked 100% last night. When I watched the game, I don't think she was at full speed. She was healthy enough to play, but I think she wasn't at full speed and didn't want to join it. That was my impression. just from someone who's played, a sport similar, running sport, ultimate frisbee, and coming back from injuries. That's just the way it looked like to me. I think unrivaled shook her confidence, Boston. That may be true. Adrian Ross said she was driving. So I don't even know how you text when you're driving. At the red light, maybe. That's true. I'll agree with that statement. That's unlikely. She's not ferocious enough with the ball. I agree with that. Rob was critical in the video today. We have a second video coming out from last night's game, and I just didn't finish editing. My phone froze on me. This phone was like I couldn't even use it, and it turned out that the screen needed to be replaced. I tried turning it off to unfreeze it, but that didn't work because it wasn't working. So I had to go to the repair shop. It set me all behind. We'll see if that's true, Bobby. I don't know if it's true or not. I do believe your first sentence is definitely 100% true. The coach didn't like Caitlin Clark. I don't know if she didn't like white people, but she didn't like Caitlin Clark. And Marina Marabi got hit in the head by Kennedy Carter, too. So she's white also. And then she didn't condone the actions. She's a thug. She should have been, they should have fired her right after the first time when she didn't criticize her players for Kennedy Carter and then Angel Reese jumping up and down. How do you not say, hey, sit down? That's not proper behavior. All right. So 33-11. That's what I said when we first talked about this. Hang on. Yeah, right now I'm looking at 33-11. If they look great on Saturday, I can't draw anything from these two games. This just wasn't enough to draw. Caitlin didn't play one, and they played nobody the second game. Uh-oh. Achievement says 31 wins maximum. Oh, okay. I don't agree with that at all. But I think Act Nation, when he was on the show, said 30 wins. Rob. I am. I'm going to bet the over. I don't need to bet 33 wins. I'm going to bet the over, and I'm going to bet the under on them. And instead of betting on Caitlin Clark winning MVP or most improved player or them winning a championship, this is the best bet, I think. 28 wins. That's all they need is 28 wins. Yeah, I don't know who this Ivan guy is. I just blocked Ivan. I think he's a troll. So he might have been the same person as Element Gold. People can open up a new accounts. I can't stop them. All right. Burrow thinks they kept her on purpose. I think she really had an injury. But I'm glad she wasn't in that game. Who wants to get injured in a preseason game? No. I don't know that guy. That guy's whoever that is. I agree. That's why I'm saying 33 is probably the most likely scenario. That's 3 wins for every loss. I can see that. Whatever his name, I don't know what his name is. I don't care. I don't have time for immature people. Sorry. Well, that's what I've been saying. It's hard to judge the fever based on 2 scrimmage games, especially one of them. Kagan Clark didn't play, and then the other one is against a really weak team. So I'm not drawing any conclusions. I just think they have the talent to win 33 games. I think Kagan Clark can make people better. The Liberty won 32 games last year, 30 and 16-4. I think they'll be better than 16-6 at home. But that would be so you're saying 30-14. I'm saying 33-11. So I'm saying they're going to be better than that at home. Lindy and Evan and Basil might be the same person. Ivan. Oh, it's Ivan. I'm saying Evan. They could be. I don't know what happened to Basil's mom. She was here earlier. I don't know who that was. They didn't say very much and then left. So I don't know. Like, how old are these people that just are trolls? Like, are they like in their mom's basement or something? Like, I don't understand. Let's see, what do we got here? 38-6. Oh. All right. What do you guys think of that? 38-6. Frank DePope said 44-0. Not sure if he was smoking at the time or not, but he said 44-0. Look at they could be unbelievable this year. I'm trying to like have some kind of perspective because everybody else is predicting lower than me already. And I'm saying like 33, 35, and people are saying 30 and 28. And it was like, look at it this way. They should have won. They should have been 25 and 15 last year with a real coach. And they're playing 4 more games. They have a much better coach, much more depth, much better starting lineup. Another year with Leah Boston in her 3rd year instead of her 2nd, and Caitlin Clark in her 2nd year instead of her 1st. And your best player in the league by the end of the year will be Caitlin Clark. And she just makes everyone else better. I can't see 27 wins. That you got to go the over on that. You got to bet the over on that. I got to go to Vegas. I don't understand how people think they're going to lose. The over-under is 27.5. Because you always lose a game or two that you don't expect to lose. So 38-6 seems a little high. So I'm counting on, like, the Liberty lost to Indiana last year. They thought they were going to sweep them. Let's see. We'll see. This dude kills me. What dude? A few aging veterans. Yeah, but they have so much depth that the aging veteran things, I don't think it's going to bother them unless they get injured. And obviously a 33-year-old and a 37-year-old starting is more likely to get injured than a 27 and 23-year-old. So that part is true, but they have the depth. Injuries can always, anyone could tear an ACL. And then Douglas is confident. Don't listen to the Europeans. They don't give free speech. Europeans have free speech. What are you talking about? Yeah, AK Nation mentioned us in a video once. He was talking about black podcasters, and he Rob is obviously the black half of our podcast. And he mentioned like 4, and then he said, yeah, there's Mark and Rob too. And he was talking about the ones that support Caitlin Clark. And I came across his video, and he was calling Caitlin Clark the best player in the league, like in game 1. Now, I told him that's talent is different than being the best, and he's backed off that a little bit. But he also thought Fly J. Johnson was going to be the best player in college this year. I told him that's ambitious too, but she may be up there. And she wasn't anywhere near she didn't even make 1st or 2nd. Did she make 2nd team All-American? She was good, but she wasn't the best player. Yes, I agree. And that's why they're going to be completely different. I think that will be the key. If you guys watched the Olympics last year, or not the Olympics, the All-Star game, it took 1.5 practices them to figure out how to play with Caitlin Clark. And they were playing against, I know they were playing against a team that wasn't a cohesive unit team, but they were the Olympic team. Caitlin Clark tore them apart with passing And it only took her 1.5 practices with the other players to figure out how to pass to them. So I think they're going to gel quicker than people realize, in my opinion. I could be wrong. You can have free speech without it being in the Constitution, as long as they don't come after you for things that you say. Essentially, you have free speech if it's never enforced, right? I mean, it's not in the Constitution, but doesn't mean that I don't see them being shut down in terms of what they say, like the press. Yeah, he said the refs. That was in the interview. I saw that, and I would have said that gave him the same answer. The refs were terrible, especially against Caitlin Clark last year. And it was really sad. It's really sad that refs have an agenda. Isn't that sad? They're supposed to be the most objective, most impartial people on the planet, for at least in sports, and they had an agenda. I was really never more disappointed than I was with those refs. It really was. It was sad. What they put Caitlin through last year. You understand why some of her fans get angry. Bizarro, Rob. Rob's not bizarre. Let's see. Hey, I'm almost caught up. I'm in 7:45. I'm only a minute behind. Yeah, I mean, Aces have a good roster, and Chelsea Gray looks less hobbled than last year. I don't think she seems like she's 100% in terms of her movement, but she looks better than last year and looked better than she just did a couple months ago in the Unrivaled League. She looks faster and not as awkward with her running, but she doesn't look fast. So yeah, the Aces are going to be up there. No, I said they shouldn't have an agenda. All right. What are you talking about? I think it's sad they had one. I think it's important. You can get arrested for hate speech in England. And how often does that happen? You can get arrested for things. There's still laws on the books in the United States that you can get arrested for that no one ever gets arrested for. So are they really significant in terms of being a law if that never gets enforced? Free speech has to do with the government curtailing your speech. People don't even understand free speech. So hate speech, I don't know if that has hate speech against the government or hate speech against a public person. I'd have to go research what they have in England. I don't know. Dean would like to see Caitlin Clark retire, write a book, get a movie deal. and then be insanely rich and watch. She's going to be rich no matter what, but and watch the WNBA fail mainly. If I would have thought, like when they didn't put her on the Olympic team, I would have thought a perfect movie scenario would have been for her to just say, you know what, F this league, I'm going to Europe. You guys are going to fail without me anyways, and you're treating me like crap. I can't even get refs to give me a fair call. How am I ever going to fulfill my potential in this league? And I'm just going to get injured, and it's going to kill me. And if she went over to Europe and did that, I wouldn't have blamed her one bit. And I would have said all the reasons why I was going to Europe. And then they'd all call her a bunch of babies and all this names and stuff like that. So she stuck it out. But it was awful what they did to her last year. It was terrible. Like I said, it was the coldest reception since Jackie Robinson. And I'm not comparing her to Jackie Robinson's reception. But I've never seen a rookie get treated. She got treated 10 times worse than any other rookie I can remember. I've been following sports since like 65. It's a shame. I'm so glad that year's over with. There's more drama there than there is in soap operas. Yes. My question is, Christopher, are these new positions or are these just ones that they should have had these in the first place, first of all, because the NBA has similar things. I'm going to go to ChatGPT and find out if these were new positions or whether they were just fired the two people that were in charge of it last year because they were so bad. And wouldn't they follow the same format as the NBA? Like, for instance, did the NBA have these titles before? If so, why didn't the WNBA have it? Let me ask ChatGPT. See if sometimes it gives the wrong answer, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Why weren't their positions there in the first place? Because the NBA are constantly evaluating their refs. You can say whatever you want about them, but they won't let me copy and paste. Let me just see. Hang on. All right, let me just see. So the ref should have an agenda of sending a message. No, oh my gosh, are you serious? I want the commissioner to say to the refs, so it's not their agenda, they're just following rules. I don't think the refs should have an agenda. I think the league should have an agenda to clean up the league. So it's not the refs having the agenda, it's the refs following the rules that were laid down by the commissioner. It's not the same thing. Oh. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Michael. I think people are generally disappointed, but let's wait a little. She's with a new team too, and so let's see. Yeah, if she doesn't perform, they'll stick Sophie Cunningham at the backup point guard when Clayton's out there. I think the team's in trouble if Caitlin Clark gets injured, though. But I guess that's bound to happen when you've got someone who's going to be the best player in the league sometime this season. Non-basketball plays should be immediately classified as flagrant fouls. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, this has come up before about Fuzzy Zolar's joke. He got people criticized him pretty heavy. All right, whatever. I'm not going to talk about free speech in this. Um, uh, Fake fingernails. Yes, there should be a limit on the fingernail. I don't care if they're fake or real. There should be a limit on the length. But I don't understand why there's not a limit. I'll say that. Yeah, 4 more minutes. Anyone want to make a donation to the channel? I'm dragging here with my these allergies are killing me. Donation to the channel. There's super chats and super thanks. I'm gonna go to 8:00 and then I gotta call it. I still have another. I'm still finishing the video of last night's game editing. I got some business I had to attend to today, so I'm sorry they went up late. So if Saturday's game is picked up by a channel, I'll go live. Otherwise, I won't go live. Right now, no one's picked up the game according to ESPN. Yeah, I understand why that seems like should be an automatic thing. A limitation on the nail length. I mean, I guess not automatic because they don't have it in the NBA, but thank you, Christopher. So we're all in agreement about the nails. Even Bobby agrees with us. Now we know we're right. Yeah, when your nails get longer, they get ripped back. No, I keep my nails short. I don't. The long nails, those are so hard to keep clean. I don't know why people like long. I mean, I can understand why women like them for a fashion statement, but I think they seem like a pain to keep clean. All right, what is this about? So my feeling is this team will always be able to attract free agents. So they're not the type of organization, because of Kate and Clark, they're not the couple organizations that's going to have to build up to the draft. It's not going to hurt them to get draft picks, and they're not going to have good draft picks because they're always going to have a good team. So they're not going to get a top 10 draft pick, a top 12 draft pick. So they're not going to get a big star. Uh, Hundreds of people in the UK are jailed for memes and tweets that offend others. You could put half the country in jail for that. They really have that much time to do that? How do they prevent robberies and more serious charges? Uh Not working hard. It's really dumb. I agree. Everyone agrees with that. Anyways, I gotta go. All right. See you Thursday at 5:30. Everyone, have a nice night. Hopefully, I'll recover from the pollen that kicked in from the spring. Allergies. I never had allergies before this fall. Wow. So, anyways, we'll see you later. All right. So, anyways, bye everyone. See you Thursday at 5:30. You're welcome.